Well, it's a pleasure to be joined now here on GCR by one of the newest members of the Baltimore Ravens. He was selected in the 6th round of the NFL Draft, and he is now the Ravens punter. He's Ryan Eckley, and he's with us here on GCR. Ryan, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's so good to meet you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
I know this has probably been like the craziest 10 days of your life. Can you kind of put it into words? Like what this last week and a half has been like, as I'm sure you've dreamed of these moments throughout the course of your life. How does the reality of it compare to the dream that you've had for the last decade or so?
Yeah, it's been a really good experience. Getting the call there on draft day was pretty special, and then things start to move pretty quickly. You get down to Baltimore, and it's a lot of new faces, a lot of new people to meet, and we're heading right into rookie minicamp, and just finished that up, and it was a really cool experience. Went really well, and I'm just looking forward to the future.
Did you honest to God? Did you know? Because the Ravens obviously were in the market for a punter with Jordan Stout leaving for New York. Had you had the feeling during the process that it might work out, that it was going to end up being Baltimore?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hoped so. I knew that was one of the top landing spots from this past year's draft, and there were a few teams that were looking, but I knew Baltimore was going to be, one of the first teams to actually take a punter, and ended up being the first team to take a punter. So it worked out, and I definitely was on my radar.
Did that drive you like during the process? I don't. It's maybe not quite the same as like other positions where you're competing in the 40, and that's maybe a little bit less important for punters, right? But like, did that drive you, that desire to be the first punter off the board?
Yeah, 100%. That's a big honor, and one of the things that I'm proud of in myself is that I was able to be top of my class this year, and I hope that's something that I can. We talked about this in the building, is proving them right. Making sure that they made the right decision, and proving the people of Baltimore and proving the staff that they made a good decision.
Ryan, I'm always fascinated. So I've gotten to know the last couple of punters in town. I'm always fascinated by the path to punting, because like with some football players, it's obvious, right? Like you just look at them and you say, "Oh, right, obviously you were going to become a football player. That makes sense." Punters, not always the same. What was the path for you to realizing, hey, I have this skill that a lot of people don't have. I might be able to do something with it?
Yeah, my path was a little different than most guys. So some specialists are soccer first guys and all that, but football has really always been my primary sport. I started playing football when I was 6 years old, and then when I was 8, we had like an open competition for a kicking spot when the PAT got introduced, and I had won the competition and kind of just stuck with it the whole way through. I mean, I played other positions my whole life. I played quarterback and safety, and college was the first time I really just punted.
Okay.
So punting was something I got serious about when I was probably a sophomore in high school. It's like I kind of knew maybe I could take this to the next level. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a football guy, especially quarterback, and my parents aren't the tallest people in the world, so reality kind of said it. I think I probably have better odds of playing college ball if I can, kick this football rather than sitting here playing quarterback at about 6'1".
I mean, no, wait, hang on a second though.
That's kind of how I got to
But
it.
you have to have a passion for it, right? Because like I feel like as a football player, it might have been easy for you to be like, oh, dude, I got to be the punter. I don't know, man. Like it's not really what I want to do. Did you know you had a passion for it? Did that have to come after you really started focusing on it and maybe learning some of the more intricacies of punting?
Yeah, once I started taking it seriously is when I fell in love with it, because the process is such a huge part of being a specialist. It's not like something where I could give you a football right now and you could punt and hit a turnover, pretty spiral ball. It's a long, long process. So falling in love with that was a big part of it. And then just the satisfaction of, I tell everyone it's just like golf, and golf's a huge part of my game.
Yeah.
It's like when you hit a good punt, it's like flushing your drive, right? You see it, the moment it leaves your foot, you smashed it. It's that high, pretty spiral that fades all the way over. It's beautiful. So that is something it's addicting. You hit that good ball, and right away it was good, and right away it's bad too, and it's not. It's like it's such an immediate feedback system where it's easy to fall in love with, just like golf.
New Ravens punter Ryan Eckley is with us here on GCR. Ryan, it's so interesting you bring that up, right? Because obviously you show up in Baltimore where once upon a time Sam Cooke was kind of known for having his golf bag, right? Like, and Sam and I would talk all the time about the different types of punts, and he kind of revolutionized the punting field because he had so many different types of punts. I know you're a big golfer. Was Sam someone that you studied? Like, were you aware of all that, and did you start to incorporate? Because a lot of people have brought up the different types of punts that you have in your own golf bag.
Yeah, that is a huge part of my game, and I think that's something I've talked to my coach about a lot here in Baltimore. Is hey, I have different punts I can hit, and there are different aspects of my game that we can use more than just the spiral. I think everyone in the NFL has a big leg and can crush spirals. That's why you're one of the 32 best in the world. But what can separate you and keep you around for a long time and make the returner's job a lot harder is all the different kind of punts we can hit, where we can, throw the team off and make something that the returner has to think about while they're sitting under the ball.
It's really cool, man. I like. Do you find yourself like in the lab, maybe trying to invent like a new punt? Do you sort of like? Is it more about focusing on what you do really well and perfecting it, or is there some part of you that's like, maybe I could try this, maybe I could have a behind the back type of punt or something like that?
Right. Like honestly, I think we're at the point now, especially post Sam era, where
they're all out
found
there.
every punt there is. And now it's not like finding a new punt, but necessarily finding a version of a punt that works for me, whether that be a helicopter or a hook or a knuckleball or all those different kinds of punts. How can there's no one way that everyone kicks the ball, so finding how to hit those balls for me may be different than how someone else would hit it.
That's really cool, man. Is it like when do you go to the bag? Is it just about where you are on the field? Is it about the weather conditions? I don't know, maybe I'm giving away state secrets if I ask this question, but like how do you figure which punt is perfect in which spots?
Yeah, no, it's not you're not really giving anything away here. It's field position, it's wind, it's weather, it's how warm is it, how cold is it, it's how good is their returner, what's our scheme for that week? What have I been doing well for the past 5-6 weeks that we can come and rely on, that we know I'll hit a good ball every time. Like you're more comfortable hitting your pitching wedge than you are your 4-iron. So it's like maybe we can play this to know that we're going to get the exact ball we want, rather than it's 30 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour winds. Maybe there's a certain ball we wouldn't want to call on in that situation.
Wow. That's dude. We could end up spending. Sometime we might have to work this out, that we do like the science of punting together at some point in the future, because I'm fascinated by it. Ryan, famously, we bring up Sam Cooke. Obviously, he was like a sure thing in the fake punt game. He finished his career 7 of 8 passing. I was diving through your numbers at Michigan State. I didn't see a lot. I saw like one run. I'm guessing that might have been like a botched situation. But given your history as a quarterback, do you feel like maybe you have more of that perhaps could be called upon in the future?
Yeah, 100%. At Michigan State, I begged for fakes all the time. Like I said, college was the first time I stopped playing another position, and I hate to call it real football, but it was probably high school's last time I got to play real football other than just kicking the ball. So I would love to get back to running fakes, throwing the ball a little bit, showing off my speed. I like to think I'm a pretty athletic guy, so I think I absolutely the punt fake game is a huge part of my game.
What are the rules for you in trying to get downfield, right? Because we always see long snappers get downfield, but normally you don't want to risk your punter getting hurt, so you kind of want him to only make a tackle if he absolutely must. Do you abide by that, or are you the type that, because of your background, wants to get downfield and hit somebody if at all possible?
I was told a couple of times not to go hit people, as getting me hurt's probably not a good idea, but football instinct tends to take over, and there's some clips you can find of me making a couple pretty solid tackles in my college career. I hit the Illinois returner pretty hard back in 24.
Nice.
I ended up on the Pat McAfee show, and I enjoy making hits. I enjoy putting my head in the fire, and if I got to lower my shoulder and put my body on the line, I absolutely would love to do that.
I love that. Again, we don't want you getting hurt. We do not want you getting hurt, but I love that as part of your game. Ryan, you mentioned golf. I was reading a little bit about the relationship with you and your father, and how golf has been so important to you. Can you kind of walk me through that? And as you allude to, are there ways in which like golf and punting, like your golf game can help your punting game? Like, do those two things walk hand in hand in a way?
Yeah, my dad got me into golf. He tried to get me in earlier than college, but I mean, he tried to push golf. Golf is huge for him, and I tried to pick up the sticks earlier in high school and later in middle school, but I didn't love it. It's not a big thing in Florida like it is, a little further up north, just because there's other sports year round. But I fell in love with golf in college, and now I'm a severe addict, as I found most people tend to be. And the correlation between putting and golf is really it's right there. Like the swing path, the draws, fades, shot shaping are all a huge part of putting, and it's like being able to in a metal game too is just it's identical. And I think they go hand in hand. When I'm on the course and it's I hit a bad drive and it's like, all right, now how do I respond? It's like, well, I'm in a game, and if I don't hit the punt that I wanted to, and it didn't, the outcome wasn't what I was looking for, the ability to put that pass punt behind me and go on to the next ball, especially in a high pressure situation in a game, I think has really, really helped me.
That's
so the
cool.
mental maturity side of golf translates, and also the shot shaping aspect as well.
Now, what about the swagger? I think Griffin's going to show everybody that's watching the video, because we've seen you do like the Conor McGregor strut. Where did the swagger come from? And what are like the rules for you for maybe when you pull out a little bit of that when we see you on the field this fall?
Yeah, it's heat of the moment thing, man. I get caught up in it. I love football, and I tell everyone, like, you see, Zay Flowers catches one, he scores a 60-yard touchdown. You're gonna see him celebrating in the end zone, right? So like, why can't I celebrate after I make a play where we flip the field, 55, 60 yards, and you pin them inside their own 5, and now they have to drive 95 plus yards to go score. So that's I think being able to change the game and then celebrate on top of it. I'm a football player just like everybody else.
I mean, I think it was Rich Eisen who said punters are people too, right? Like, hey, come on, man.
Absolutely.
100%. And we know that, like, a punt can be a complete game-changing type of play. Like, we are very aware of that. So I dig that. I mentioned your dad. Am I right that I saw you? Is your mother a meteorologist?
Yes, she is.
So
she's doing the weather.
Okay, so is that something that you've ended up having any interest in at all? Like, could you see yourself? I bring this up because Owen Daniels, who was a tight end for years, was legitimately fascinated by it and would come over to the TV station and try to do the weather whenever he could, because he was so. Is that something you've ever found any interest in whatsoever?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been drawn around the camera. I don't know if I've ever thought about being a meteorologist, but I've definitely looked into sports broadcasting after football, and
cool.
Being a presence in the social media world as well. Just because I'm comfortable in front of the camera, I grew up around it, and I think I enjoy public speaking, so I could see myself after football getting into that whole sports broadcasting industry.
That's really cool, man. Like, is it something that you think you might end up doing during your career? Where we see guys do, like, Marlon Humphrey is maybe the king of this, right? Like, he's doing. Like, is it something that you could see yourself doing, trying to give people like a look at your journey?
Yeah, 100%. If the opportunity arises, I would love to, share my journey. And I think it's really important for younger specialists and younger athletes to hear, it's how hard it is to get to this level and all the things that go into it. I think there's a lot of misconceptions around what it takes to get to this level. And I'll tell everyone, at the end of the day, it comes down to hard work. You have to put your head down and just grind. I started out my career as a walk-on, and you got to earn everything that's given to you, and then nothing will be just handed out to you, especially at this level.
Man, I love that. And I assume that, obviously I reference, you're the Ravens punter. Of course, there is like a competition, and nothing is given. And the nature of being a 6th-round pick is that nothing is promised to you. How much do you feel like, hey, this is fun, but I still have to go prove myself to make sure I'm the guy in week 1?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it starts with mini camp this past weekend. It's like every day I'm out there, I'm trying to prove that, I can do this at this level, and at this level, I can be one of the best guys at this level, and that's it's kind of the mentality I have going into every single time I strap the helmet up is I can be the best punter that, maybe you've ever seen, and that's my goal, and that's the mentality I think everyone has to carry, or else you're wasting your time out there. If you don't think you could be the best, then why are you there?
No, I love that. I love that, right? And every day, what did Jesse Minter say this weekend, right? Like, every practice has to be your best day, and so I love that. Ryan, I did want to ask, for people that aren't familiar with your story, someone that you play for, and that you're maybe living out the dream for yourself, but also to share for it. For people that know the story of your friend who died a few years ago, and what it's meant to you to try to continue to live for him, can you just share a little bit of that with everybody?
Yeah, one of my best friends in high school passed away in late 2019, and that's been a huge part of my athletic journey. As he was a huge supporter of mine. Growing up, we watched every single college football game together and spent a lot of time hanging out. And he was a huge supporter of mine and knew my dreams and aspirations to play at this level. And so, getting here and remembering why I'm doing all of this is deeper than myself, and it's bigger than just me kicking a football. It's me representing a friend who passed away and everyone who sacrificed for me to get to this level. So being able to play for something more than just the pride of kicking a football, and knowing it means more than just me putting pads and helmet on is really important to me. It's a big driving factor of why I wake up every day and go work out and go train, and everything I do is like I have external motivation beyond myself. It's played a big role.
That's all. I mean, I'm so sorry that you went through that, particularly at such a young age. I mean, it's just unfathomable to lose someone like that, but wonderful that you continue to play for him and to try to accomplish everything and to share his memory, man. Good for you. Ryan Eckley, at Ryan.Eckley is Instagram, correct? And are you on Twitter that Ravens fans can be giving you a follow?
I am, yeah. It's Ryan Eckley 1 on Twitter.
Ryan Eckley 1. Give him a follow there. Ryan, great to meet you, man. Looking forward to getting to know you more in the coming months and years. Congratulations on being a Baltimore Raven. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yo, thanks for having me on.